Just locked it in nicely. There we go.
Yeah, I'm so nervous from all the other reviews. Like, you smacked that thing and I was like just waiting for it to explode.
Well, you know we have to drop this thing, right?
Ah!
Okay.
Ist ein großer Panzer.
Don't get any ideas while I'm doing this. Oh. That's okay. There we go. Sean has his notes.
Yeah, I have my notes. I'm getting old.
Me too. Something just fell off.
La la la, da 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 da. Late in the war, there were no prostitutes. Do you eat ass? What?
3 hours to talk here, 2 hours to talk there.
Oh my God.
It's been a minute, man.
It has. It's been more than a minute, actually.
And where have you been? What you been up to?
Just working, teaching, staying out of trouble. You know.
Social distancing, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Brick Me Up, Scottie.
That's right.
I'm Scottie Hoy.
And I'm not.
You're watching Bemis. What does Bemis stand for?
Brick me up, Scottie.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, got Sean back. Military time.
Yes.
I'm excited too. We're not going to do some of the older reviews yet. We're going to jump right into the new stuff.
Yeah.
Because y'all want new
No.
right now.
Yes.
Look at this bad boy. This is brand new from the brand Panlos.
Yes.
Actually, let's just say what it is.
Yes. World War II German Panzer VIII Maus.
From Panlos 628009.
Because it has a turret, we're going to assume it's version 2.
And a 2,127 pieces.
That's a lot of pieces. So, you know, very representative of German engineering.
Panlos really went out all out with this. This
Yeah.
is like next gen tank to me, man.
It's very nice.
Okay, for those of you who know me, you know I don't know my military tank stuff. For those of you who've been watching my video, you know that the most popular videos are the ones with Sean, because she is the expert.
No, I'm not. No.
He's going to give you some information about this while I'll tell you what I
Yes.
feel about the build.
By the end of the war, actually in the middle of it, the Germans understood that they couldn't produce a lot of things. So their idea was to produce either better or, in many cases, bigger things. You could almost perhaps say Hitler was a size queen. Because if you look at, say, the Panzer V, the Panther was fairly normal. But then once you get into the sixes, the Tiger 1 and 2 and the King Tiger, they're just massive for no real good reason, except that the idea would be to terrify your enemies. I don't think of that Conan the Barbarian thing. Yeah, this thing was, as far as I could tell, like the biggest tank ever made. They only made 2 of them, I think, but it weighed 180 metric tons, which for Americans, that's 200 freedom tons. It's literally 3 times bigger than the Abrams or the Leopard, which are they run about 60 tons, right? It's just huge. But Hitler had this idea that we're gonna somehow make up for the fact that we're losing the war since approximately, you know, the winter of 1941, more or less, by creating these Wunderwaffe, these wonder weapons. Secret, you know, like the V1, the V2, the ME-262, all this, that somehow, because we only have a small number, but they're going to be so great. Like, really? I don't think so. Ferdinand Porsche actually was involved in the design of this, and I think it's very possible, probably because, you know, there wasn't a lot of, like the Nürburgring wasn't being used during World War II, because, see, the problem was, yes, in theory, a German would always win the race if it was nothing but German racers, but then Germans would lose the race. And of course, they probably have to be shot for that. So Ferdinand Porsche must have, you know, been going crazy during the war. Like, what can I do? And so, understandably, if being Ferdinand Porsche, he probably wanted tanks to be faster. But Hitler, of course, wanted them to be bigger. Große Mache. It's like, no, schneller Mache. Like, faster. No, bigger. And of course, you can't really argue with Hitler because he was him. Being that it weighed 180 tons, it was virtually too heavy for every bridge in Europe. But then they also had this idea of making it like a submarine where it could go up to, I believe it was 26 feet or meters. I can't remember exactly. But you'd need another one of these to supply the oxygen and electricity to it. So in order to cross a river, you needed 2 of them. It just, see, this is what I mean. It doesn't make sense. It had a 128 millimeter main gun, which I want to say it was capable of engaging something like 4,000 meters, like so a very long way away. Whoops.
Unfortunately, the gun for build is probably the weakest part. It holds in, they're okay, but it can pop off when you're like messing around. But it's nice and small, unlike some of the other sets that we've seen before.
Yeah. Like a lot of German heavy tanks, I'm fairly certain this had the same problem, which was that after you traveled on the road, you had to recalibrate the gun so that it would hit what you were aiming at. Little known weird historical fact that is in no way true whatsoever. The original name for this was going to be Fanny, which, as it turns out, Hitler wanted that name because it was Eva Braun's mother's name. And she found out about it and got really angry. Plus, they realized that, you know, imagine like David Niven. That might be an old reference. David Niven with binoculars somewhere near the Rhine going, good heavens, look at the size of that Fanny, which for British people will be very funny. For German people, that would be like, ach, ein großer Muschi. So that's completely untrue, but this is what coffee does to me. The other thing is when the Russians overran the development area where they were working on this, and they put graffiti on the side of one of these that says Hitler's mother-in-law weighs 180 metric tons. This thing had between 9 and 10 inches of armor all the way around it. So 9 to 10 inches of steel. Imagine what this thing, there's a reason it weighed 180 tons. Its mobility was just horrendous. The drivetrain, like in order to make the drivetrain strong enough to move it, then it would be too heavy for the drive. But this is Wunderwaffe for you.
Wonderful.
Ja, wunderbar. So tell us about the build, because that's why most of you are here.
No, man, your speech was good. I like it. In fact, you deserve a little reward. Please enjoy yourself. Try one of these. Hopefully it hasn't expired or give you a stomachache. So the Panlos tank, this build was actually pretty amazing for not being a tank guy. I had so much fun doing this thing. It's not perfect, but still pretty good. And the other thing too, this thing is selling like crazy right now. I think every other day, someone's ordering this, and it's gonna actually be sold out pretty soon from the factory. So if you missed your chance, you just gotta wait. But this thing is awesome, man. First of all, the tracks, it's like huge compared to the other tanks we do, or we've seen.
What? Right.
Like now, double the size.
Do they do these to any consistent scale? Well, they must. Yeah, the consistent scale.
I mean, we have this one here, but this one is from Xingbao. This is the Leopard.
Right.
We're gonna review this one later, but just to compare for size there.
Right. But we don't, that's what I'm saying. The figures are all the same. So in theory, you would think that they use them as a scale.
Yeah, but someone will point out,
that's true.
No, it's not exactly.
Exactly.
Someone will say that.
Yeah.
But the great thing about this is that the tracks, even though it was tedious to put together, it has these little rubber pieces so it can like roll on any surface. The problem is the little wheel parts, these little circular parts, they can pop off. That's kind of the problem with like other brands and tanks. Those pieces always, well, you're playing with it, you know?
Right.
It's a Lego piece, so it's not Lego, but brick pieces, excuse me. If I hold it up here and just roll it, it's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a dip there. But it's very nice. The front here, all prints, no stickers.
Nice. Very nice.
Which is really cool. You guys can see me shifting this thing around.
It's a girl tank.
So you're gonna have little pieces here and there stick out.
Yeah, and fall off.
Yeah, even the panel parts, they're just held down by a couple studs. Yeah. The side as well.
You could always glue it.
Craggle it, that's what they call it.
Craggle rock.
I love the fact that all these tiles are prints. There's no stickers, it looks beautiful.
Yes.
And you just gotta be careful. Front panels, side panels, back panels, they can pop off, but you know, you see me hold it now, it hasn't been too bad. Not like some other tanks we did.
Yeah.
Remember those ones? I should give you the sister of
don't
the
even,
T92
no,
tank.
no.
They have one called the S8 Gao that's like missiles on it. You'll love it.
I don't.
Should let you try that one out. We got plenty here in the back.
Oh, God.
What is this thing on the back? Do we know what that is?
You know, it's hard to say. I tried to look it up.
We had it on the other tanks, though.
Yeah,
you said it's not fuel, right? I don't know what it is.
See, here's where I get confused. Now, in theory, it might be an extra fuel tank because then if somebody shoots it and it cooks off, it's outside the tank. You wouldn't want to have your main fuel tank outside. You may as well just paint "shoot me" on it. And I don't really know what it is. And I'm sure somebody does and they'll tell us and call me an idiot, but I deserve that.
I get called that all the time.
Yeah.
Not like super studded out.
Yes.
And it's got all this like unique prints I've never seen before. Yeah. Got little bullet holes here and there. Got the number 104.
It's strange that it has any sort of markings from being shot at because as far as we know, it never actually happened in real life. They never used them.
I guess it has to look like it's on a battle.
It's been in battle. Of course.
Wear and tear.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, the turret is the only thing, or the gun part comes off pretty easy. Just being held in by a single stud.
Ow.
Like so.
That's not right. Oh,
You have to lift this up if you want to
Yeah.
swing this around. It does
Swing.
rotate. Swing. The other great thing is a lot of this can come off nicely.
Yes.
So you can actually separate this piece here.
Whereas when the Russian army did it, they needed 6 German half-tracks.
So I'm gonna slide this to the side. How smooth that is. All right.
Oh,
There's
baby.
the gun.
Yes.
Very simple to put together.
Another odd thing of the design, you'll notice when you built it, there were no machine guns on the outside.
Yeah. That's right.
Because they figured, again, German optimism, like they'll be so afraid of us, it won't matter. You always have to have machine guns on a tank because at some point when you're dealing with infantry, especially the other guys, they're going to catch up to you. But the mouse didn't have this because Hitler wanted the 128, and then he wanted a 75 millimeter coaxial. Like, calm down.
Okay, so we got 2 hatches that can open up here.
Yes.
Right.
And don't fall off, which is nice.
And you can put your figures inside, and you can actually lift this piece up, like so.
Aha!
You want to slide it in, by the way, for those of you who are frustrated trying to put this on and it keeps popping off.
Yes.
You want to make sure it slides in, like so, and it'll lock in just fine. Oh, look at the detail on that.
Very nice.
It's all printed on this little part right here.
No, it's very nice. I'm often, as you know, very impressed by the ability to recreate a remarkable level of detail.
This is what, ammunition? These gray things on the back?
If I recall correctly, I believe this used what they would think of a 2-stage round where you had to put in, like you put the round in, then you put the propellant behind it. So you need 2 people for that. I think so. So yes, it would probably be the explosive charges.
Then they actually have 2 kind of like, well, you can stick the figures in here.
Yes.
You can stand them up. So one can kind of stand outside one hatch, and the other one can kind of like pull back and put them further in.
Yes.
So it's more lower. So it comes with some figures. I can show you an example.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Something like that. And I guess if you were to put this back on here,
Yes.
then they'll come down. Yeah. It's up.
Yeah, exactly.
The one guy's lower in there.
I'm not going to get shot.
I think, again, the only downside would be the panels. They can pop off pretty easy. So far, this part has been okay. See, stuff like that, just gotta just make sure it's nice and snug inside. And then if you're disappointed, like, oh, there's not too much, where's the control panels and all that kind of stuff, wait till you see the other half of this tank mouse. See, it rolls just fine, and it rolls on this kind of material.
Sure.
There's another hatch here.
Yes.
You can just stick another figure in there.
Driver's hatch.
Driver's hatch. Ah, okay. I think you pull this one out first. Take that off. This back piece can come off, and this front whole section can come out.
Kaboom!
You can look on the inside of this bad boy, like so. Look at that.
Careful, you're gonna
Yeah.
lose your
Slide loose.
rounds there. There you go.
Yeah. As Sean just mentioned, there's a couple loose pieces here, which are...
As far as I could tell, these would be the actual projectiles, the round that you're sending downrange.
ammo.
That's my guess, anyway. I'm not sure how you'd get to
I don't know.
looking at the design, but it probably was.
I don't even know what these pieces are.
I don't
here.
just detail.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
a bunch of details in there, and I guess the engine. When you're building this whole thing, you of course you're seeing all the details as you're putting it together. It's beautiful when you're putting it all inside. It looks great.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard to see it
I
from
like
here.
this sort of gold
Yeah.
detail, the maroon.
Right? Even here, that's just like the main engine, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing is like.
Yeah. The drivetrain. And yes. Here's your engine here.
The only real issue that you might have is actually the panels. So they're not supposed to come off. But if I were to pull them out, like, oh, see what the piece just fell down. Let's go back on here like this.
Imagine when you change the oil on this thing, you'd need a 180-ton lift. Most garages won't have that.
There's a better view of it being bare naked. Like this can come off really easy. This panel.
Maybe it's a depth charge.
And it actually is being held down by some of these pieces, so everything's like really secure. Good. Because it does the thing like the T92 tank, where you're putting the edges on, I'm like, oh man, this thing is gonna just like break off, but nope. It is in there nice and solid.
Nice.
And there's a control panel there.
Yes.
All printed.
The driver, yes.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That was amazing looking.
Very nice.
And it was fun to put together. I didn't have any issues
That always
at
helps.
all. It's just tedious when you do the tracks, and it gets a little bit tricky when you're putting these panels on. See if I can do it. You have to hear a snap. When you hear the snap, they're good. There you go. That means it's in. When you're first doing it though, it's all new, right? So the clutch is gonna be like a little bit tight, and then you hear this pop, and you're like, oh, but it's in there. Then gotta get these pieces back on. While I'm putting this all back together,
All right.
I shall have Sean take a look at the figures.
Yes.
You can just give us your take on them, what you feel.
All right. There's your commander. You can tell he's in charge because he has binoculars, right? And then you've got basically 2 and 2. The 2 lower ranked people who have no ammunition pouches, and these 2 in the middle have the ammunition pouch and suspenders, so they must be slightly more important, or at least better armed. As I've often said, I really enjoy the level of detail that they print, and again, it's nice, no stickers. They really do a good job. The faces, you know, from a historical perspective, the expressions on the faces are a little difficult to understand. And then, of course, it's easy to make a joke about how they're, as I said, you know, late in the war, they conscripted Polish soldiers. Like, I can't see anything. Shut up, Stan. Anyway, but they're nice. I mean, they're all the same color. You know, they actually did a pretty good job, believe it or not, matching the gray.
They look like almost too similar to each other, though.
Well, yeah, but of course that's why they're called uniforms, Scotty. But this guy, I don't know why is this guy smiling? He's smiling. He's up to something. He knows. I don't know.
And they come with some weapons.
Yes. Now this I found very interesting, precisely because there's so many weird things and so many not weird things. Like for example, here. The top is an American M1 Garand. The middle is the Kar 98K Mauser sniper variant with the scope on it. And then the one on the bottom is a M1 carbine paratrooper variant, like an American. So you got American, German, American. I don't understand. I think this thing on the bottom is supposed to be a potato masher. I'm guessing. I'm not really sure. Oh, very nice. Okay, so then this actually fits on something else. Yeah, I'll go with what I was impressed by before we get weird. Okay, this is really interesting. Okay, this on the top is a reproduction of the Sturmgewehr 44, which was actually the world's first assault rifle. When the Russians tell you they invented the AK-47, they're perhaps unsurprisingly what we call lying. But what's also nice is this has, I believe this was the infrared scope. As you can see, it's very big and clunky. They make them much smaller now. But the Germans had this idea. Where'd it go? Here we go. This little round, sorry, I'm not used to this. That's better. Not really. This little round thing fits in here. And this is a reproduction of the Fallschirmjägergewehr 42, which was the weapon specifically designed for German paratroopers. Was actually quite a good weapon. And it includes both the original smaller magazine and then I believe the drum magazine. And this is of course a Luger, because you have to, how can you have Germans without Lugers? I think it's the law, I'm not really sure.
I just recognize the guns from all the games.
Well, that too, yes. And then this
I dropped one piece, sorry, why? Keep going on.
Okay.
I'm gonna look for this thing.
You know, it's beginning to be a pattern. This is a rather strangely shortened version of the MP40, which is again realistic. The MG42, which again, I'm glad that they included it, but, oh actually, yeah, this is probably what the round magazine is for. But as we've said before, they don't actually have any on the tank, but whatever. And then this is the Mauser 98. Then we get weird. This is a Bren gun, a British Bren gun. I don't know why they would do this. An entrenching tool. Then you get into really old, like World War I bayonet, because they tended to be longer. This might even be for a Lee Enfield, I'm not sure. But this deeply confuses me. A Chinese sword. Let's pretend that we can hypothesize how this ended up this way. Remember, if you read your history, the Germans actually supplied Chiang Kai-shek, the Kuomintang. They supplied them with weapons. And so in theory, when someone is doing research for this in China and they're gonna look up pictures, they're gonna see people in German helmets and they might be carrying one, I don't know why, but they might be carrying this. It's as good a hypothesis as any as to why they ended up with a massive Chinese sword.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. There's a picture on the internet somewhere, I think it's Chiang Kai-shek's son in a German army uniform. It's a little strange. But these, again, remarkable to me how much detail they can manage to create, you know.
I'd get this tank just for the giant sword.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, maybe that's a bit far to go, but it's definitely an interesting point to have, so.
I can't find the missing piece that fell down on the floor somewhere.
Damn it.
I'm going to temporarily replace it with it. There were no missing pieces for mine. I know one of you bought this and was missing a piece of track. You know, hit me up if you want my spare one.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
I know. But another color. Lucky I had a spare one, but it's a different color.
Because I mean, they should just definitely include extras, because that would stink. You get the entire thing put together, and then you. I'm sorry. I know it was terrible. I'm only laughing because I can definitely relate to that.
That sucks, man. I'm sorry that happened to you. But we can help you source the missing piece.
Yeah.
So 4 dimensions. Just gonna show you visually first what this looks like on a road plate, so you can visually see for yourself.
Right.
How this can destroy other vehicles, and it won't take up the entire roads.
Right.
And then I'll pull out the 2 regular green plates, just slide them out, put them in. Did you measure it already? Do we have an idea?
Seems like about 44.
Okay, well,
not counting the barrel.
You're not counting the barrel, 44?
I think, yeah,
by length?
Because I sort of checked it with this. This is, I believe, 16, and I got 12 out of this, so 32 and 12 is 44.
There you go.
Yeah.
And by width?
I would say 18.
18 by width?
Yes.
All right, and then for the height?
So you can see here how the Autobahn camouflage doesn't necessarily work if you're going through the green fields.
Stack this up.
That's not true at all. That's a dumb joke. Yeah.
Here, around there. I mean, it's like more or less 13 bricks in height. As sad as it is, it's time to drop this thing. Now I had to put a disclaimer on this now and tell people I drop it because I want to see if it will
Explode.
That's right. Survive.
This is delicious. Thank you.
Good man. Panels are gonna fall off
That's
this
all.
thing.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not so bad. I see the track on this side get a little bit.
Oh, separation here. Whoop. Oh yeah, you got.
Oh yeah, it's still rolling though. Look at that.
Well, on one side, yes.
Everything held inside. Let's see if I lift it from here. That's not bad. I mean, this pops on easy. I told you guys the panels will probably come off, and just the wheel parts. Oh, something. Oh, that's the ammo. Yeah, this is easy. This is so easy to put together. Okay, while you're eating that, shall stick this in here. Oh, you know what the saddest part is?
What's that?
This piece actually broke off. We actually have broken pieces. This snapped off. It was so heavy. It snapped off this one. It snapped off this one. And it snapped off 3 of them. Okay, there you go. See? Don't drop the tank. You can possibly break the pieces on here.
180 tons.
I have to figure out how to pop those out. That's easy to repair for me though. I have plenty of those spare parts. Everything else should be fine. So there you guys go. This is Panlos.
Panzer VIII mouse.
In the house.
Certainly.
No, it's absolutely amazing. I thought it was awesome to put together. Again, it's not perfect. Things might pop off here and there, but it's not bad to put them back on. Great for a display. If you're a tank lover. If you're not, if you just want to build, I had so much fun with it. Sean, what do you think of it? Seeing it here?
Like I said, I really like it. It's interesting because it's one of those weird historical things. Really impressive to me, the amount of detail that they manage within the sort of confines of doing brick stuff. And what's nice is, as you say, it's not perfect, but it's still fairly robust.
So it's time for us to work on some other military stuff while I have Sean in the office.
Exactly.
All right, you happy? Okay. So let's get out of here for now.
Okay.
Until next time, you guys.
Yes. Thank you very much for missing me. That's unique. It's something I don't get in my own real life. Thank you for having me back. This is always fun for me.
Thank you for coming here.
Certainly.
All right, let's brick ourselves out. Brick us out! Right?
What the fuck is this? That's bizarre.
Oh, you know what?
What are these 2 little kids? I mean, I'm lucky, for me personally. I've been so unsocial my whole life. The past year and a half, I've never felt so good about myself because I'm actually, it's a virtue to stay away from people, and I'm very virtuous.
Well, same here. I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
Packing orders and trying to get these videos out.
I like how they optimistically put 104, like as if the Russians are going to see this and go, oh my God, there's 103 other ones.
I'm missing like a small piece.
Small piece of what?
Sean was supposed to help me review this one. This is the Wandering Earth big truck.
Well,
I'm trying to borrow a piece from this. I just lost a little tiny piece.
I thought we did review.
Not the big one. This is the big one. We did the small one.
Oh, okay.
This one's got a toilet and everything inside.
Nice. For some reason, there was an extra hand right there. But I don't know if that was a mistake or they just were, give me a hand. Okay. Look at this hand in my hand. That is so stupid.
And I was just suggesting to Sean that maybe you should take one step back and build it. You know what? Let's ask you guys out there. You guys see any?
No, they're gonna say it. Just no. We should film me building it here, so as I lose my mind.
That would take like a week, man. I don't have time for that.
It'd be like a torture video of me trying to put one of these together, and I know that's what you want because that's just how you are. Because that's how the internet is.